And I'm real quick before I get started, guys. I'm Jonas Rosenberg. I'll be subbing today for Jimmy Reed. I have been here at Summit Funding for 10 years. I am very honored to say I am a next level coach. And guys, please don't let the suit and everything mistake you. I am more happy in my jeans and my Mariners jersey than anything in the world. For those of you that don't know my story, I started off at Summit Funding negative 60,000, being on this screen the same as you. I am probably the most real person you have ever met. And so over the next hour, if I were to, can everybody put you on mute, please? If I were to talk too much or you have a question, do not be afraid to interrupt me. Do not be afraid to put it in the chat screen. Do not be afraid to send Rebecca a message. Our goal today is to make sure that you understand these forms. Is that fair? Okay. And guys, I have had the honor of watching probably the greatest student that has ever gone through next level coaching. He is now a coach with me, and I asked him to join us for as long as we can because I want to have him give his perspective basically on these forms because he's the best person I've ever seen do these forms besides Jim Reed. So Chris Clock is here with us. I'm sure you guys have heard the name or seen the face on the videos. So he'll be offering input on how he does the forms. Also, I'm going to teach you how to do them, but we have a young man that just told me he's going to do 200 loans next year sitting on here with us, and he does his own forms, guys. So if he jumps in, Chris is out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and will be joining us. So please write these 3 tips down before we go to the forms. To be successful in coaching, number 1, I want you to use your concierge. Rebecca is going to share whether you are with Rebecca or Julie. Make sure you develop a relationship. I'm telling you right now, Rebecca likes Starbucks cards. These ladies will help you with anything. Guys, it's crazy. I heard a presentation and there was a follow-up plan that was done by so-and-so a couple years back. I called Rebecca. I said, do you have that? She goes, funny enough, I do. Guys, I copied it. Number 2, please hear me loud and clear. The greatest form of flattery for us coaches is you copying us. Hear me again. The greatest form of flattery is you copying us. At Next Level Coaching, we are transparent. You have millionaires as coaches. I will never lie to you about that. As far as our budgeting, as far as what we do on a daily basis, as far as our events, as far as our anything else, please use us. Call us. Please, if you really like something, Patrick Jones goes, man, Jonas, I really like your Monday calls and this. I'm going to twist it into the Jones team method, but I'm going to take 90% of what you have and I'm going to run with it. Please do. Everybody asks me how I advanced my career so much. And I'm telling them I just stole it from the people that were ahead of me that did so well. They're teaching me how to do it. Chris Clock, are you still with me? Oh, he must have jumped into something else. Okay, he'll be right back. So guys, please make sure when your coach, and the word is called surrendering, but if your coach says, hey, this is how I did it, and I want you to do X, number 1, the greatest student I ever saw literally has done everything their coaches said, and that's why he's at the top of the leaderboard. But he took their systems and just made it into his. He did not spend the hour upon hour upon hour to recreate the wheel. Does that make sense? Okay, good. And guys, please feel free to take off mute or yell at me. Number 3, here is the most important thing. So 1, get to know your concierge. They can open up so many doors for you. Number 2, please, when your coach tells you to do something and they've shared with you what they did, you will not hurt our feelings at all if you take our work and make it into yours. I will never lie to you and tell you it's not what I've done for 10 years because it's exactly what I've done for 10 years. And number 3, make sure you know these forms. Guys, for those of you that have ever tried to talk to me, my ADHD is so bad. I'm having 4 conversations at once and I'm that far ahead of you. I promise I am not the guy you want to sit to at a poker table, but that's the only thing this ADHD is good for. I share that with you because forms are horrible for me. Vanessa's over there going, that's me. How many of you hate paperwork and hate forms? Okay, about 50%. Guys, it's very hard on me. I want to sell. I want to have my energy and be out and be public and be around. Let me get the chat screen there real quick so I can see it. So, Teresa, it's only 3. Number 1, make sure you communicate with your concierge right away. The things that Rebecca can help you with or Julie can help you with is scary. Number 2, when your coach gives you an assignment, for the love of goodness, do it. And then make it yours. So, Julie, take you off of mute. Julie Botero.
Yes. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Julie, are you a realtor or a lender?
I'm a loan officer with Summit Funding.
Okay, wonderful. And I think, how many realtors do I have on this call today? Do I have any realtors? I can only see screen 1.
Yes.
This may be, I do? Okay, good. So real quick, before I go into this, realtors, we are teaching the lender forms today, which are exactly really darn close to the realtor forms. I have been told to tell you that Marjorie will be going over yours. Marjorie's the expert, but they're just little tweaks. They are basically run parallel to each other. Okay. So number 1 is get with your concierge. They absolutely can get you everything. Number 2 is when a coach says do something, surrender. So Julie, if I were to give you a tip, which I gave out yesterday on how you could get 20 leads between now and the end of December, would you do it?
Yes.
Julie, I did that exercise yesterday. I have, those are all my leads from yesterday.
Oh, wow.
They're not hard, but guys, you have people that are literally doing, I think the top person at Summit's doing 50 million this year. You're having these people telling you exactly what they're doing on a daily basis. When your coach says something, please do it. And number 3 is know these forms. Okay. So Rebecca, are you still with me?
I am. You want me to pull up the greatness tracker?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Hello, Bren Warner. How are you? Now we're surrounded by celebrities. One of my favorite students of all time is sitting on here, so I'm getting nervous. So, guys, these forms are so super important because does anybody have a guess why we do these forms or why we have these forms? Feel free. Take you off mute and talk to me.
To be organized?
Okay, to be organized. That's fantastic. Who is that?
Daniel, me.
Daniel, I see 34 faces up here. So please, to be organized, what does that mean, Daniel?
It means to keep track of your clients, obviously, because you don't want to, I mean, once you get so many leads, it's kind of hard to know like your last conversation, the result of the call, when you spoke to them. Just keep everything in order. So when you give them a call back, I mean, you know what the last notes were, things like that.
I 100% agree with you. Daniel, 10 years ago, I had so many little yellow sticky notes from all my conversations. I literally lost people.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's me. Yeah. All the time.
Veronica, you got your hand up. Go ahead. And then Teresa, I'll go to you.
It's to know your numbers. You need to know exactly where you're getting your leads from, where they're coming from, who to focus on. If, for example, my leads all come pretty much from past customers, so I have to focus on me staying in touch with them because that's where I get the most of my leads. So I'm going to babysit those. And then where do I need to work on? Do I need to work on more realtors? Do I need to work on more face-to-faces? And so I want to work 40 hours a week. So what do I have to do to accomplish talking to 20 people a week so I can stick to my 40-hour a week? So I need to know exactly how many calls I have to make in a day to reach at least 20 people a week. And that's what these forms are for.
That's amazing. Teresa, why do we have this form?
I was basically going to say that it tells us where our leads are coming, but it keeps us accountable so we know what we've done and we don't get off track and we just stay on pace.
Vanessa?
I was just about to say, for me, it's going to be accountability.
Okay, perfect. So guys, I want to introduce you to one of the next level coaches. I want to ask him, this is my new guru and one of the people I have the most respect for here at Summit Funding. Dave Kammerer, you've been carrying a greatness tracker around for almost 20 years. Why do you continue to use it each week?
So, ladies and gentlemen, being a great student is what gets you to a success level. The best thing you can do is master these forms so that you can teach them to other people like your business partners. That's the number one reason to get good at this and to be consistent, because you will lead the people around you. And when you start leading other people, that's when the big money shows up. And I want all of you to have big money. Now, I'll tell you why I do this also, because it's simple. It's not easy, but it's a simple system that works. And I've been doing this business for 30 years. I became a student. It'll be in January, it'll be 21 years I've been a student of coaching. And I started my coaching career with Todd Scream as one of my coaches when he was very early on in his career as well. And these forms they've been refined a little bit, but they're pretty much the same stuff we've been doing for 21 years. It works. That 50 million guy he was talking about, it's me.
Yes, it is. And I'm chasing him heavily, but we'll see what we can do. And the only way I'm catching him are these forms. So guys, we want to start with the greatness tracker. Oh, Veronica said she went over these forms with the new agent. Guys, that's a great idea. I don't know if you'll ever master these forms. Dave Kammerer's probably one of the only ones that have mastered it, but you're going to get really, really darn good at it. Guys, I'm doing a greatness tracker challenge with a group of agents right now. We're in week 3 and we're really going deep because they love these forms. So can everybody see the greatness tracker? Rebecca has that up. This is our favorite form. Guys, Davey, do you still carry your greatness tracker around with you everywhere?
I do. It's actually, you just made me think, where the hell have I put it? Here's what by the way, what I do, Jonas, is I complete it every single morning for the day before his activities. And I think
so wait a minute, let me repeat that, Davey, because that's a mistake I'm making because I'm trying to keep it up. So guys, listen to this. You sit down in the morning in your coffee and just put in yesterday's activity?
Yeah, because the next day, I remember everything I did the day before. My phone usually is full of all the calls I made. I just remember it. I'll tell you what, I don't put a phone call in there unless it's impactful. So instead of thinking about which phone call is impactful, I just make sure every phone call is impactful. So, but my point is that I only fill it out once per day. But I know some people fill this out once a week, or they fill it out the night before their coaching call. Do not be that person. Fill it out once a day, because then you can see your progress. And I played a game with myself for years, Jonas, and I wanted to get the whole week's worth of greatness tracker metrics completed by Wednesday. And so if I did that every week, my income started to grow. There's a famous student who was at the bottom of our program. His name is Oleg. You know who he is. I coached him off the bottom. He goes, Dave, I don't ever want to be on the bottom again. What do? I just said, well, just do double greatness tracker. That's literally what I said. Do double greatness tracker. And that's what he did. And now that's a guy, if you want to talk about serious production, he's still doing 30, 40, 50 units a month. The giant team.
And he's in my area, guys. The average home amount over here is 600,000 at 30, 40, 50 units a month.
So anyway, it works, but I fill it out once a day, Jonas.
Okay, so let's go over this form, guys. Please make sure Dave's here, Chris is here, I'm here, so ask questions away. Veronica, go ahead.
So are you only putting down the actual talk to, like you actually talk to someone, or calls you made?
I only, so under what says great phone calls, only who I talk to. A great phone message is not as good as a great phone call because it's not really impactful. Great phone message has bait and causes somebody to call you back so you can have an impactful conversation. Got it?
What if this person is you're already familiar with this person and they are strictly texting type people.
Text them, get on the phone with me right now, idiot. I'd leave that last word off.
Voice to voice only then.
Yeah.
So guys, let's go over this form real quick. The top one is face to faces. To me, the way I do my business, this is the most important one, guys. Our goal is 15 people a week. Now, I always get asked, Jonas, I'm in a BNI, I see 30 people. Can I just put them all down? No. Face to faces are someone that you truly had a conversation with about business and you sat down. I tell all my students 5 minutes or more in the conversation. If I walked by Logan and said, Logan, how are you? Is everything in your world good? She says yes and walks away. Should I write that down? No. No, because it's a face to face. Now, if I say, hey, Veronica, can we sit down? I really would like to go over that client that you sent me last week. I'd love to give you an update, and I definitely would love to see if I can help some more of your clients. Is that a face-to-face if we sat down and went over this stuff? Yes. So guys, face-to-faces. Now, the best of the best, did they fill them in or did they make a goal? If you see that 15 over there, that's your goal for people to meet a week. But the number one thing I want you to remember in all these categories is please, especially when you're starting, do not lie. Please do not lie. Now, I'm going to give something away. I'm very honored to say I'm pretty sure Dave Kammerer is my coach.
Jonas,
Next
tell
semester.
them why you don't do that. Like,
Well,
first of
Davey,
all,
I'm
tell them why
actually
you would
gonna
do that in
use
the first place, and then why that's a bad idea.
Why do I want to do it in the first place? Because there's a young man named Chris Clock who I love beating, and in my coaching calls, I love doing more than he does. And sometimes I exaggerate the numbers to look better. But we have one of the best coaches in America. Davey, I'm going to ask you as a coach, buddy, would you rather know that I only got 2 face-to-faces so you can coach me on my schedule? Or do you want me to lie and tell you I had 16 so you just go right on past?
Okay. If it's not obvious, do not ever, ever lie to a coach, especially me. I'll find out because I can read your mind, just for the record. Trust me on that. And if I know exactly what's going on, I want the reality. And if it is only 2 face-to-faces, we're going to talk about it. I'm going to coach you on how to get to where you need to go. But if you're putting false stuff down there, I'm going to assume excellence because I don't micromanage my students. I expect them to be telling me the truth. And I'm going to coach them on where I see the weakness. The forms tell me where I need to focus the time on the call. So it's very important they're accurate.
So, Mr. Clock, I got you here. Your face-to-faces. How do you attack your face-to-faces each week? I know that our goal is 15 here on this form. What would you tell them to start with so they can make sure they're hitting between 10 and 15 face-to-faces?
Well, if this is a newbie call, so I mean, the biggest thing that you'd be shooting for is calling your sphere of influence and having them introduce you to some sort of referral partner, right? So it's a pretty easy step, right? You want to pick up your phone, you want to make a list of 200 people that you know, like, trust, and then literally call them systematically and say, hey, my coach told me that I need to talk to the 200 people that I know, like, and trust, and I'm almost done with the list. I'm at 193. Right? Or do something if that fits your personality. I'm kind of snarky like that. So I'd make a joke and I'd say, hey, did you know I was in lending? I just need to do a survey. Did you know I was in lending? Who did you use to buy your house? Would you call them and introduce me? And you want them to call for a very specific reason. They will pick up the phone for a past client. And when they're on the phone with them, they're going to do a favor for them. So I have several top agents of mine that I work with that I got in the beginning because of that tactic. And then ultimately you're trying to fill it up, right? It's only 3 a day. And I know it seems crazy, but a consultation is a face-to-face. Having doing a pop by and hanging out with the realtor for a little bit's a face-to-face. Coffee's a face-to-face. They duplicate, right? The face-to-face duplicates in the break bread. So if you have 2 break breads, it's going to duplicate into the face-to-face.
And
You can
guys,
also
for
fill
our
that in
real,
with open houses, right? We know we go on open houses. So your calls should be focused on, I mean, this is a sales producing activity form. It is measuring your sales producing activity. So your calls should be in order to get in front of somebody. So when you're making your calls on Monday to your realtors, it should be to set an appointment somehow.
Guys, for our realtor partners, once again, your form is just a touch different, but it is all the thing. And Veronica, I'll get to your question here. So guys, those are the face-to-faces. The second one is break breads. Now, guys, I want to stop a big misnomer. I was asked by a student of mine, am I taking realtors to lunch anymore? The last bill cost me almost $70, and I did not quantify that person. She did no deals in the last 2 years. I took her. A break bread does not need to be a big, expensive dinner, especially where some of us are financially. I do break breads for coffee. I do break breads for a stop by with lunch. One of the things I want to share with you is Summit Funding has mastermind events and other events where the coaches go on that I pick up the phone and call realtors and say, hey, do you want me to order a salad from our favorite salad place? Would you like to come down and watch the screen with me? Most of the time when you see me on one of the mastermind events or the screen, look behind me. There will be partners sitting behind me because it's my favorite way to break bread. I get to spend an hour of education and we get to talk about it afterwards. Be creative with the break breads. I know some of you are sitting there going, Jonas, I cannot afford 5 lunches a week. I understand. So get creative with those. Any questions on the face-to-faces of the break breads? Because to me, this is probably, they're all important, but this is one of the greatest forms because if you want to double or triple your business, I promise you, Todd Screama put out a bet that if you filled out a complete greatness tracker for a year, you'd make over 200 grand. I don't think he's ever lost. Julie, I think I saw your hand up.
Yes, the face-to-face will be considered, if we do a Zoom meeting, let's see if it's I guess I'm licensed in Georgia and I get a meeting through Zoom with a realtor over there. Will that be considered a face-to-face?
Yes, because of the distance of your call. Obviously, if you're in the same town, I would really like you to go buddy up because it's a little bit easier. But yes, ma'am, I am right now 400 miles away from my office, and I'm doing a couple Zooms today, and they will go on my face-to-faces.
Okay. Thank you.
So, you're very welcome. Guys, the next category is my favorite. If you're ever around me as a coach, I have zero call reluctance whatsoever. Dave and Chris are also in that same boat. We need to have 12 great phone calls a day. Guys, they only count if you talk to the person, and they only count if you are having a business conversation. Now, if you sometimes you see the number 60 and it looks very daunting. But if you break it down to a 5-day work week, that's only 12 calls a day. And Dave said the most genius thing, and I'm actually going to start changing what I do. Dave sits down and has a cup of coffee each morning and puts the previous day's activities. I have a tough time keeping up on my greatness tracker because I don't do that. And then with my ADHD, I have a difficult time remembering exactly what I did all day. I had a wonderful day. I just don't track it well. So for those of you that are taking notes with what Dave said, I'm going to switch to the way he does it. And I'm going to sit down because I always come in a little bit early to work just to get through the menial stuff. I'm going to make sure my greatness tracker goes first. Yes, Chris.
I'm going to just give some clarity on whether or not you're one of the only people that has zero call reluctance, Jonas.
Yes, sir.
I have call reluctance. I just do it because I know I want to win. So you need to figure out what your motivation is and what's holding you back. Because if you dig deep and you 2-step close yourself on why you're doing this and why am I filling out this greatness tracker, it's for multiple reasons. But I mean, if it ends up sparking from competition, praise, motivate, whatever it ends up being, I'm doing this for my kids because I think that I should be working my tail off and doing sales producing activity while I'm away from them. So sometimes you play games with yourself, or you have a piece of paper in front of you so that you can fill it out so you know you're doing the activities that you need to do. I don't necessarily always want to pick up the phone and call a realtor. I do have call reluctance, but if you have a reason to call, the reluctance decreases significantly and or goes away. So just as a quick example, my networking event for my December is my birthday party. I literally have about 200 people that come to my house. I have a list and I'm just calling people for the next 10 business days and saying, my annual birthday party's here. It's basically a networking event. Come meet some realtors. You can go get them to join your EXP team and make your MLM bigger. So have a reason to call, but it doesn't, if you hear that, because I think sometimes it feels really unattainable, like, oh, I'm not the person that has no call reluctance. It's okay to have call reluctance. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't do hard stuff and get over it.
So I want to go to the chat screen real quick. Vinny, you said today you were with 3 realtors in the office for brainstorming and planning for 2025. We also ordered breakfast. Can you put those 3 as a face-to-face? Vinny, it's technically yes, as long as you had great conversations with them individually. I always get asked, Jonas, I go to BNI and I saw 8 members. Can I put that in? No. But if you truly had great conversations where you were able to get face-to-face with those people, I would absolutely say yes. Now, guys, I want to give you a hint on the great phone calls. Would any of you like to take away a golden nugget that I promise you, if you do, you will get leads? My summit funding coach challenged me because I was started off in 6 months. I had a business partner and I was there. And I said, I didn't know who to call. I was new at this. Chris Clark said, or Dave, I can't remember which one of the two of them said the word sphere of influence. But what I want you to do before Christmas is I want you to get in the greatest call list you have. Everyone forgets your cell phone. Everyone forgets the phone numbers, and I want you to call them, and I want you to make sure that they know you're in mortgage. And I want you to ask them if they know of anybody that was possibly talking about buying or selling in 2025. You will get leads, or you will at least get people you can call. Now, Chris Clark is the king of the 2-step close. So when you get the name of someone you can call, Chris, will you take it off of mute?
Yep.
Ring, answer the phone, Chris.
Hey, this is Chris.
Chris, my name is Jonas Rosenberg. I'm working Summit Funding, and I'm a first-time homebuyer specialist. I'm sitting with your uncle Dave Kammer. He's sitting right here next to me. Do you got a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Buddy, he told me that you are possibly looking to buy a house in 2025, and I asked him if it would be okay to give you a call to see if you and I could make a meeting once the holidays are over, and we could see if we could set up a journey. Davey said you're his favorite nephew, and he trusts me here, and I wanted to give you a quick call and see if that would work for you, or we could set up a meeting after the holidays and see how to start your journey.
Cool. Yeah, I could do that.
Guys, it is so easy to look at the person who told you and said, hey, can I call your nephew? And can I tell him that you told me to call me? Is it okay? Now, if you want to go to gold level, none of you are going to do it, but I'm going to give you a challenge. It was the second single greatest lead day I ever had. My coach told me to go get my mother's phone and my father's phone, and to call all their contacts and tell them that I am Mike or Teresa Rosenberg's son, and I'm in the mortgage or real estate business, and did they know of anybody? Now, guys, for any of you that know me, my mother is a New York Jew, so I got 9 leads and 4 marriage proposals. It was a very productive day. Guys, sphere of influence doesn't just have to be yours. At the holidays, I always ask my aunts, uncles, everything else, hey, is there anybody in your phone that I could think of calling? It is an amazing lead list that I get to walk away with every holidays. And I make sure that I ask, hey, do you mind helping me? We're a touch slow. I'm chasing leads. Anybody in your phone you could think of that's possibly talked about it, it's a guaranteed something, especially for the family members that love you. So don't forget that when you're starting, sphere of influence doesn't just have to be yours. Use the family members that you love you. God bless you. If my grandmother was still alive, I know I would have 22 Jewish women out there looking for leads for me. All right, so remember that, guys, 12 great phone calls a day. If you do just that, just 12. Can everybody make 12 outbound phone calls a day and get a discussion? Come on, guys, raise your hand. I know you're still with me. Can everybody make them? If you break it down that way, this is easy. But if you wait to Thursday and you haven't made any phone calls, this is horrible. Believe me, from a guy that, like Dave said, don't wait to the last minute and turn in the homework. I get busy and I come up with excuses. I'm a great coach. I'm not such a good student sometimes because I overwhelm myself. Davey, what would you, as my coach coming in, what would you tell me? And I'm going to tell you right now, I am that guy. I overwhelm myself and I forget to fill out this form. What would you tell me to do?
Well, I'm going to probably do some questioning and find out what it is that's keeping you from doing it. And I already know a little bit about that. And then I'm going to help you set a tactic. Then I'm going to challenge you with the tactic to text me every morning when you finish filling out your greatness tracker for the day. And then I'm going to monitor you. And every day you miss, you're going to have a fine. And the fine, in your case, may not be monetary. It might be something else. I'm going to find out something that you really don't like to do, and that's what you'll have to do if you don't do the work. So sometimes I look for a negative motivation, and for you, I know it works better. Like, for example, Jonas has a property where he loves to go do wood cutting. I think it's cathartic for him. It's what he does to release. I might make a deal with him that he can't do that for a month if he doesn't hit his greatness tracker text to me every single day. It'd be something like that. And Jonas, I'm gonna pull that out and aim it at you when we are coaching together. So be ready.
Sir. So guys, once again, 12 phone calls a day. Make them count. Yes, Vera, we'll talk about the theme days. The next one is the events. We want you to attend events. Now, events have always been all over the board. Some of you belong to, how many of you belong to a networking group right now? Good. If you don't belong to one when you're getting started, realize that you can visit them without joining. It's a wonderful place to get out in public. I do BNI. I also do trivia. I go to a realtor-based trivia each week. Events could be any you want it, industry-based, so you can meet referral partners. But right now, guys, we're in the greatest month of the year for events. People are having Christmas parties. They're having socials. For those of you that are getting started, Vanessa and I were talking a couple of weeks ago, and she's in the same position I am. She's in a small town trying to get herself known. And I told her, I said, Vanessa, you have the best smile, the best personality. Just get out and get to know people. Get out there and make sure you're known. Look at Chris Clock's sign behind him, guys, if any of you can see him. He started with the Around the Clock mortgage team, and that's all over all of his branding. I give people a assignment. Would you like to have something to do with your wife on a Wednesday night? They go, yes. I said, join a bowling league. They're like, Jonas, I can't bowl. I said, I'm not after the pins and the bowling ball. I'm after the 100 people that you get to see and meet each week in your town. So think about the events. We want you attending at least one or two events. Videos. This is something that your coaches will teach you. Chris Clock did not do videos when I met him, or did not do them well. Now he is a beast. Videos are super important. You want to talk to your coaches about that. I average about 2 videos a week to your database, to your realtor systems, but this will be discussed in coaching. One of the most important categories on here is hours prospected. Guys, your coaches want to know this. If you are stuck in loans, and Vanessa, I'm going to pick on you just because I can see you at the top of my screen. If you are stuck in loans, I want you to be honest, because Dave and Chris can look at my Tuesday and say, Jonas, why did you only prospect for an hour? And I can tell them every sad story that I had and every loan that I was chasing. And oh, by the way, guys, if any of you think that you're all by yourselves with the loans on fire, you're not. Hear me again. If any of you think your story is all by yourself with loans on fire, you're not. So we want to know how many hours you were able to prospect or create new business, because the goal is, if you truly put in an 8-hour day, the goal is to have you get to a place where you are at least 60% of your day. Me as a coach, I'd like you prospecting 80% of your day, but that's going to take a progression to get there. Ma'am, I see your hand up. I cannot see your name. Is it Carol?
Carol, yeah. Can you just break down? I'm a realtor, and when you say hours spent prospecting, you're not meaning hours you're on the phone. Like, how do you define hours prospecting?
So, Carol, I want you to ask the same question of Marjorie when she gets on, and she will be going over this with you, okay? But to me, Carol, prospecting is chasing new business, meeting with people, going to a board meeting at the local hospital that is bringing in new doctors. Anything that you are doing to prospect or cultivate new business. It doesn't always mean talking to new leads, but it may be developing a new lead source. So right now, what is the greatest coming up next month? What is the greatest industry, guys, coming up for the next 4 months that is meeting face-to-face with clients? What happens from January to April? Who said that?
All right, Jim.
Accountants.
Who said that? Whoever said tax accountants, you were 100% correct. If you are not calling and introducing yourself, Carol, to tax accountants right now and making sure they have your cards in your office and making sure, hey, if any of your clients coming up for the next 4 months have any real estate needs, you're missing the boat. So that's what I would tell you, Carols. We want you prospecting or creating new business or triangle of trusting or anything else, or having these meetings as much as possible. What we don't want you doing is, as a loan officer, getting caught in loan scenarios and going, hey, coach, I was working 7 hours on my loans. What happens when you have a great month and get stuck working on your loans? You go to zero, guys, the next month because you were stuck in the month, correct? Okay, guys, I want to move forward a little bit because I could spend all day. I love this form. Thank you cards. Chris Clock, are you a thankful person? Once again, I'm calling on Chris because I can see him.
I literally am writing a thank you card right now.
That's awesome. Guys, if you've ever had a phone call, and Dave Kammerer doesn't know it, but he left me a message right when I joined his team, I kept it. Dave Kammerer is probably the greatest person at leaving voicemails I have ever seen. Davey, your message is still saved on my phone 8 months later.
I nicknamed those love calls.
Thank you cards are something of the past, guys. How many of you get mail at your house besides Christmas? Personalized mail. Veronica does.
You know what's funny, Jonas? I got to tell you this. There's a new realtor. He's literally could be my son's age. And I sent him a thank you card because he sent us a lead. And he called me up and said, Dave, no one does this anymore. He goes, it's one of my favorite things. Found out later, he so believes in that. Like, he sends cards to everybody. It's literally a lost art. So if you do it, you're distinctive. And if you do it consistently, you become very reliable. That's a word that you want to be associated with in this business, is reliable. That's what I got.
Mr. Clock.
It's marketing too, right? So you can do this very easily, but I had a bunch of these that are made and I have my logo on the other side. And guess what? I send a bunch of them to the big KWs and all that, and it's branding too. And then, you will literally go in people's offices, and I have seen my thank you notes in every one of my realtors' office. They'll have it pinned up on a board with other people.
Something else, Jonas, the reason you keep that voicemail is because your love language is words of affirmation. And what Chris just said is the same reason most salespeople, that's their love language. So they will keep a card that you wrote something nice about them. They'll keep it around just because they don't feel like they can throw it away. There's a lot of power in this. I think we're deep diving on a little bit, but there's a lot of power in it. That's why we're going deep on it.
Carol, I'm going to take your question, and then I really want to respect your time, so I want to get to the next forms. Carol, I see your hand raised. Did you have a question for me?
Oh, sorry. No, I'm good. That was from before.
Okay.
I'm all-
So guys, thank you cards. Our goal is 10 a week. If you break that down again today, look, Chris is on a call and he's writing a thank you card, guys. If you break that down to only 2 a day, you can get with marketing. If you're here with Summit Funding, you can get with marketing. You can get those cards made. But if you break it down, it's 2 a day. But I'd love for you to get to 20, or excuse me, or it is 10 cards on this form. I'd love for you to get to 20 of them. Guys, too many of us forget to say thank you. If you had to ask Dave Cameron how I feel about being on his team, I think I've told him thank you 100 times for picking me up, but I mean it. And guys, when an agent sends you a referral, if you're not saying thank you, and if your agent can't look and go, oh my gosh, I know how Jonas feels about me, they shouldn't be working with me. Too many of us forget to say thank you. Okay, last ones. We want to track our leads. It's so important to see how many leads our work is translating there. So that's where you put your daily leads, just a tally mark. We're going to go to the lead tracker next. And on the bottom, the number of deals or realtors, the number of contracts that you got. And for lenders, the number of pre-approvals that you sent out. This form and the budget form, guys, we're just going to glance over the budget form because Jimmy Reed is going to meet with you and spend a whole hour on the budget form, which is the most important. Please, if any of you have troubles, Dave Cameron and Jimmy Reed are the two greatest people I've ever seen do the budget form. So you definitely can find YouTube videos and everything on the budget form, but make sure that you attend Jim's class. I think Rebecca, is that next week?
It's next Thursday at 1 Pacific
Okay.
time.
Next Thursday at 1. And then for those of you that come to the next retreat, please, Dave Cameron teaches the money class, I believe, consecutively for umpteen years. Ever since I've been at Summit Funding, I have not missed that class. It's a wonderful reminder. So, Rebecca, can we go to does anybody have any questions on the greatness tracker? I want to respect your time, but I don't want to skim over how important this form is. Awesome. Rebecca, can you go to the lead tracker? Guys, this form to me is my favorite form. Too many people forget to track their leads. Chris Clock just called me. He wants to buy a condo. It has to go on this form. Guys, if Chris is just kicking tires and I just have a nice conversation with them, but I haven't gotten an application, I haven't gotten anything, does it go on this form? Yes or no? Take you off of mute. We haven't gotten an application. We haven't gotten anywhere. I was just running between dates with my wife, and Chris says, hey, me and my wife would really like to talk to you about buying a house. Does it go on this form?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The biggest mistake that I see from loan officers and realtors is you have a great conversation and you have no tracking of it. So I tell my students, the second you get off the phone and have all the information, what is the first thing you should do, guys?
Write it on the lead tracker.
Yes. Their name, their source. Why do we want to put the source on there, Lindsay Killebrew?
So we can keep them up to date about where we are with the lead and thank them.
Ring, answer the phone, Lindsay.
Hello, this is Lindsay.
Lindsay, it's Jonas over at Summit Funding. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Girl, I can't tell you how appreciative I am. I just got a phone call from Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and I spent about 20 minutes on the phone with them. Absolutely lovely people. My team just got the application out. They're going to be meeting me to get all their paperwork in and do a loan presentation tomorrow at 2. Lindsay, I can't tell you how much thankful for your business. And I just wanted to let you know, the minute we know what the next step is, I'm going to call you. And Lindsay, I actually asked him on the phone, would it be okay if you came down for the final presentation? So we're on the same page, because it looks like they want to be shopping this weekend. Would that be okay with you if I had you down to the final meeting?
That'd be great. And thank you for the update. I appreciate it.
And guys, the whole time I'm talking to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I'm telling them how amazing Lindsay is. And I'm telling them how excited I am that Lindsay is their realtor. We edify our referral sources above and beyond, and we are over communicating with Lindsay, because I don't care if Lindsay sent me Mr. and Mrs. Smith that are a 440 credit score. Are you honored and amazed that Lindsay chose you out of the other 1,000 options? That's why that source thing is so well. And your coach later is going to give you an assignment to call down all of your lead sources and tell them thank you or follow up with them. And you have it all right here. You want to put the results. You want to have their phone number. And if they haven't picked up the phone again, you want to track the number of phone calls. Somebody I haven't picked on today. Let's go over here. Shoot, I can't see. Somebody take you off your mute that hasn't talked to me. Angela in Arizona, can you hear me? Somebody take you off mute and talk to me. I'm not that scary, I promise.
What do you got, Mr. Rosenberg?
Who's talking to me?
Scott Bryant.
Scott, how many times should you call somebody before you quit?
8. I think somebody told me 8.
Thank you, sir. Now, guys, how many times, I had a coach actually have me track this and average this. I thought it was the coolest assignment. How many times do you think me calling a client before I actually talk to him? I had a coach actually have me track for this for a month because he wanted to know what my numbers were. How many phone calls do you think it has been to a client before my average, before I actually get to speak to him?
5.
4. Guys, I do my thing as a coach is I have a lot of leads. It has taken me 4 phone calls. So I've made a team rule. After 3, I get the realtor involved. Write that down. Who's a realtor on here? Somebody say me.
Me.
Carol, is that Carol?
Ruthie.
I'm so sorry. Did you say Ruby?
Ruthie. No worries.
Ruthie, would you be excited as a lender if you sent me over a lead knowing that that's probably worth $5,000 take home to you? Would you be excited if I called you and got you involved after call number 2 or 3?
Of course, yeah.
Guys, make sure you include the realtors when they don't pick up the phone the second. Don't just quit on the lead. Okay? We want to know what your lead tracker is, but your lead tracker is going to get you into conversations of conversion and phone calls, and those will be talked about with your coach. So on the bottom there, Rebecca is showing you your totals for the month. Your goals are going to go on the top into G. CCR means current client referrals. Guys, we want current client referrals. Realtors, we want current client referrals. PCR is past client referrals. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you, I get in my trouble with my coaches all the time because my CCRs and my PCRs are ahead of my realtors every month. I spend a ton of time paying love to my current clients and my past clients. PF, personal friend. RLTR, realtor. ad, advertisement. BUS is business, BNI, business spheres, da 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 da. And then builder is, BLDR is, of course, builder. Then we put our total. So let's say we have 4 CCRs, 4 PCRs. Let's just say we have goal 4 across, which is unrealistic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We would have 32 as our goal. Then on the bottom of that, we're going to go to actual, our goal, and then our actual, which then my coach Dave can look and go, Jonas, you had a goal of 4 PCRs, but you really only had 1. What can we do to improve that? All of these numbers are for you, but they're more for your coaches to really focus in on your business and be able to go, okay, we're going to spend more time. Don't mistake that everything is about that. Guys, we have 7 minutes, so your coach will get really specific. Rebecca, let's go to the next form. This is your pay log. This is your money, guys. We track everything in coaching. Your pay log is for the month prior. So right now it is December. Oh my gosh, where are we? Is it December 13th? 12th. If Dave asked me for my pay log, it would be for November because December has not, and you always do pay log at the end of the month. So don't let me get confused. When my pay log assignment comes up at the end of December, it will be for December's closing. So you are going to, in realtors, yours looks just a touch different. You can see in the sheet, it talks about your sides and your commission. This is the lender's one. You're going to put your close date. You're going to put your client name. So Dave Kammerer. You're going to put the mortgage amount, let's say 300,000, and then you're going to put your commission. Lenders, every single one of us may be on a little bit different commission split. So whatever your commission split is, 300,000 times 1 point, is your commission. The other one is source of business. Guys, we want to make sure the source of business is there. Rebecca, can you go down to the bottom? We want to make sure those numbers are totaled up. Remember, this is an Excel spreadsheet. If you see the amazing tabs there, January, February, March, you can just move through the tabs through the monthly. And typically, if you're doing this correct, a lot of those numbers will be auto-populated. We have the total number of loans. We put our commission split. All the lenders should know what their commission split is. The realtors, I know yours moves around a little bit. It will auto-populate the units closed for the month and your average commission if you're doing this right. Then you go to the bottom. If you have a team, most of you do not have a team, you put in your expense and then your projected year's income. Guys, if you are having trouble with this form, tell your coach. Most of you, if Sean Brennan is doing it again, he's one of the best forms people I have ever seen. Most of you will get Sean Brennan on your first call if he's the one teaching the first group again. And a lot of time will be perfecting these. You got to have these forms filled out to know where your business is. Next form, Rebecca. And I apologize, I'm speeding up. This form right here, guys, Dave Kammerer. I'm so glad he's on the call. He is the master of this form. Jim Reed will be meeting with you next week. Please hear me loud and clear. And I know everybody giggles at this, but I tell everybody I'm not the smartest person on the call. I'm probably not even in the top 25 on this call. When I started this, I talked to Robin and Natad, and I didn't know what to say because my family budget was negative 60 grand when my kid got sick. Please do not be embarrassed. Please, guys, I'm telling you right now, if you picked up the phone and said, Mr. Kammerer, can you spend 10 minutes? He is one of the greatest financial minds I've ever met. Call me, call Jim Reed, call Chris Clock, negative 60,000, but please be honest. Please do not be embarrassed. I am not at negative 60,000 anymore. Very proud to say I joined the Millionaires Club a couple years ago. And the only reason I did that is because of the likes of Dave Kammerer, because of the likes of Jim Reed. making sure that I tracked everything. I see Davey took himself off of mute. I do not want to spend much time on this form because Jim Reed is going to teach this to you next week. Davey, what do you got, brother?
Just listen, this is one where being honest is the most important. I've got lots of stories. I'll tell you one. When Robin first joined us and joined coaching, she was a minus sign and she was going through a short sale. All right. So listen, all these people that you see, myself, Jonas, we are all somewhere probably well below or worse than you are or where you think you are. Being honest and surrendering your coach is very important. And if you want to grow and you want to get great, that's what you do. So important. Be accurate. And if you don't know how to fill it out, then learn. This form is the reason that I'm wealthy. Period. That's what I got.
Guys, don't skip this form. When you go to coaching, please, if you get busy, this form's the one that we at least want you to try on. We would love to correct you and love to help you, but too many business people do not watch their money. I have seen so many people, Davey's seen so many people that make millions of dollars that are broke. For those of you that are making notes, once we get your money corrected, our goal is for you to save 20%. At least. I don't care if you make $100, save 20. And that's what we will coach on. So guys, I want to be absolutely respectful of your time. I actually do not have a meeting, so I can stay and answer any questions. I just don't want to, when we actually hit it with 2 minutes to spare. This was a brief overview. Thank you, Davey. This was a brief overview from an outside looking in of the forms. I would be honored to answer any questions anybody has. I don't need to run to a meeting right now. So does anybody have any questions getting in depth? Chris Clock says, start the day with thank you cards. Start the day with gratitude. I love that statement, guys. This job is brutal. I literally just had the ugliest mortgage situation I have ever seen happening to me in December, 1 week before Christmas. Both of my families are homeless right now. We're trying to get it solved. And it was because of human non-decency. So start your day with gratitude. This job is rough sometimes. Teresa says, I send thank you cards, but is there a service? Yes, Teresa, but I don't like it. It's not personal. Absolutely there is. Oh, a gift? I'm so sorry, Teresa, I misread that. Yes, there is gifting services, but make sure you write the card personally. I got to tell you guys, can I do a thank you card in 10 seconds? Vanessa, girl, the other day when I was on the phone with you, you literally inspired me to have a wonderful day. Your smile shot up the room and you told me your story, which hit home so personally with me because some people mistake the suit and the fact that I get to go on stage with I got it all together. I am more broken than you know. So thank you for changing my day. Guys, that's a thank you card. It's honest. That's what Vanessa did for my day. Julie, you got a question, girl. Oh, you're on mute, sweetheart.
On the one that we do the tracker of the goals, I was doing my goals for 2025, and my leads had to be around 55 a month for just because of. So can you modify the leads on that form? Because I saw that it's 10 a week.
So
not the lead tracker where there's, yes, the
greatness tracker.
Yes.
So the greatness tracker, yes, you can modify it any way that you want to. I would absolutely, as you're starting out, use the goals that are there. But Julie, when you get to my level, there are double, which means you have double the activity and triple greatness trackers. I have been on a double greatness tracker for 2 years. I tried. Chris Clock's the only one crazy enough to do a triple greatness tracker. I tried to do it. Oh my gosh, that was 180 phone calls. I love to talk, not that much.
Okay, yeah, because my average is usually like 45 to 55 leads a month. One of the biggest challenges, mostly in Miami, is the quality of the lead. So
100%. And Julie, I'll be honest with you, I'd love to stay on task with the forms.
Sure.
that is definitely a conversation for your first week of coaching. Or do me a favor, next Monday or Tuesday, Julie, are really great days for me because we're getting close to Christmas. If you want to find me next week, just shoot me a message
Will
in
do.
Teams and we can get on the call together.
All right, thank you.
Carol, did you have a question?
I did. Quick question on the personal family budget.
Yes.
I know Jim's gonna break it down, but the first column, MO owed min, I imagine that means the minimum monthly amount owed, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I am not staring at it, but I think that's exactly what that means.
And then paid is how much, like if there was an overage, you would see like, oh, you expected this much, but you
Yep.
overpaid.
Or you chose to overpay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Got it.
And Carol, Jimmy Reed is going to do that call next week. Best I've ever seen do the budget. He's who taught me and helped me dig myself out of debt.
Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions, guys? I don't want anybody to leave here confused or go, this is hard, because truly once you get into it and once you use these, be religious about it, guys. And don't lie. I lied to my coach. Guys, I'm a showman. They call me PT Varnum for a reason. I love being a showman. I love being in the lead. I love being in first. And I wasn't telling the truth. I was lying to myself. And my coach looked at me and goes, everything here's crap, Jonas. And I said, well, what do you mean? I'm killing it. And he goes, no, you're not. You should have a lot more closings. Oh, yeah. Tell us the truth. Because when you're looking at somebody, whether you're a realtor and Marjorie Adams, oh my gosh, she's amazing, or you're a lender and getting to stare at one of the 20 of us, we want you to be real. Remember, guys, I sprayed bowling shoes 14 years ago. I'm in the Millionaires Club and a coach now. And it's only because I did exactly what my coaches, the people that have incredible businesses that are taking their time going, hey, we'd like to show you exactly what we do. And this is my way of paying it back. I called Jimmy Reed this morning and said, hey, buddy, if you need me to, I'd love to take this call. And I would do it over and over and over again. Any other questions?
Yeah, so Chris hit it right on the head when he was talking about call reluctance. I have that, and I also have anxiety because I don't really know what to say. Is coaching going to be able to help us with
Yes.
that together?
Yes. Yes, we tell you exactly what to say. Vanessa, what I would tell you right now is, what is your favorite thing in the world to do, girl? If you were not at work, what would you be doing?
Probably crafting.
Ring, ring, answer the phone, Vanessa.
Hi, this is Vanessa.
Hey, girl, it's Jonas. What are you doing?
Working on this Christmas wreath.
Hey, I have a crafting event over at my house on the 18th. We're going to be making blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Would you like to come over for some hors d'oeuvres and some crafts?
Absolutely.
Vanessa, that would be your first challenge I would give you as a coach, is I would call 5 real estate girlfriends or business people girlfriends, and I'd have a crafting night. Guys, I thought I was going to be a professional bowler coming out of high school. I wasn't as good as I thought I was. Actually, I was pretty bad. Now, my wife is a left-handed bowler and one of the best I've ever seen. So we take realtors out bowling. And if you can get your spouses involved, oh my gosh, it gets even better. Vanessa, find the things that you like. And one of the things as a coach I'm going to have you do is invite people to your thing, whatever that may be. I have realtors over to my house. Dave talked about the place that I live. It's my favorite place in the world. It's out in the middle of the woods on an island out in the Pacific Ocean outside of Seattle. Believe me, it sounds like Hawaii. It's not. It is very cold and lots of rocks. But we have people come over and enjoy the storms with us in the fireplace. I have realtors over to the house once a week. It was the greatest thing Todd Scream ever did, because I did massive events. I come from the casino world. I did massive events. Well, I wasn't getting personal with any of those people, Vanessa. When Todd assigned me to start having people over to the house and just do 1-to-1 or 2-to-2, a double date with my wife, I started getting personal with people. The Washington State President Association of Realtors, I house sat for him when he went to Cabo last year. My realtors travel with me. I don't pay for their stuff. I can't. But a lot of my folks, anybody I'm going to work with at this stage of my life is going to be my friend, because I don't do yelling and screaming and angry with each other. I'd much rather go to war with my friends. Guys, it's 2:06 and my team is screaming at me on the backside. Any other forms, questions I can answer today?
Hey, Jonas, on the greatness tracker, so are we putting clients' names? Like, I spoke with Joe.
Yep.
Okay.
Why, Ruthie, is that for you or for me?
For myself. Like,
Absolutely, because there's a time I'm going to have you go back through your former greatness trackers and see if you didn't follow up with somebody, and you're going to go, oh crap. I do it all the time with my ADHD. I'm like, oh my gosh, I had an amazing meeting with Manny, and I forgot to send him a thank you card and tell him, hey buddy, let's do it again.
Cool. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Manny. It isn't the hair, I promise. But Manny and I had a great meeting, and I got busy and I forgot to call him back, and he had referrals for me. So that's why we always want to put names, because I'm always going to have you go back and look and go, hey, Ruthie, is there anybody you can follow up this week, which gets your calls done from last week's greatness tracker? That's why we track everything, guys, especially with a guy like me. I'm not going to remember a lot what I said in this meeting tonight when I start telling my wife about it.